I'm sure you think that the foods you know and love in America, such as McDonald's or your favorite food brands that you find at Walmart, are the same all over the world, right? What if I told you you were wrong? Today we're going to talk about how fast foods, snack foods, and authentic foods differ in America compared to Japan. It's a lot different than you might think. Let's talk about how you probably think McDonald's is the same no matter where you go in the world. When any of us think of McDonald's, we probably all think the same thing: McNuggets, French fries, and Big Macs, right? However, that's not quite what would come to mind if you actually lived in Japan. I'm going to go over a couple of the most popular foods at a Japanese McDonald's. First off, we have a teriyaki McBurger. This is a ground pork patty with mayo, lettuce, and teriyaki sauce, and this can be compared to our Big Mac. It's about the same popularity as a Big Mac is here. And lastly, we have shaka shaka chicken. This is actually a fried chicken strip, and it's served in a little paper pouch with cheese or pepper seasonings, and you can shake the bag to get the seasonings on the chicken strip, I guess, and this can be compared to our McNuggets or our McStrips. The next most popular fast food restaurant is actually KFC in Japan, and the most popular dish that they have is called Kentucky Fried Rice Bowls. Flavors include Japanese teriyaki, Spanish, and kintadon. Kintadon is actually the most popular. It's a crispy chicken with deep fried shiitake mushrooms, sweet potatoes, and spicy green peppers served on a bed of rice and covered in a sweet sauce. And lastly, we have what's called bento lunches. These come in all different flavors of boneless chicken, and they're sectioned off into little plastic containers in what's called a bento box. And it comes with chopsticks, carrying the meal on the bottom and the rice underneath, and sides come such as potato salad, bite-sized egg omelets also are sides as well, which I thought was kind of cute. And this bento lunch can be compared to our $5 fill-up boxes, where you can kind of pick and choose what you like to have in your box. And lastly, I have Subway. Subway, I was a little surprised. They have a lot of different options than we do here in America. For meats, they offer anything from shrimp, teriyaki chicken breast, and egg as a main source of protein on all sandwiches. And the egg is not just for breakfast, you can get it any time of day. And for the sides, they only offer fries or soup. They don't offer chips, which I thought was really interesting. And on all of these restaurants, all I did was go online and I looked at menus of Japanese versions of these fast food chains. So now, do you ever wonder where these fast food restaurants get the food that comes in their meals? This brings us to packaged foods, or what I call snacks. The first snack that I have is called Baton Rice Candy. I'm going to talk about a couple candies first. This is a chewy candy. It's citrus flavored, and the wrapper that it comes in is actually edible, so you can just eat the whole thing, which is kind of weird, but also kind of cool. And next I have what's called Ramen Candy. This is a special candy. It's supposed to taste like an old soda from Japan called Ramen. It has a fizzy lemon lime taste, and it comes in a container that looks like a little soda bottle. And now we're going to move on to these snack foods. The first snack food that I have is called Jacariko. I think I'm saying these right. It's a type of potato chip in a stick form, and it comes in a little cup container. Next I have what's called umaibo. They are individually wrapped corn puffs, and they come in salty and sweet flavors, and they're represented by a popular cat mascot, which is very popular among the children in Japan, I guess. And lastly, I have what's called Kinoko no Yama. These are biscuits that are shaped like mushrooms, and the tops of the mushrooms are drizzled with chocolate. I'm not sure why they're mushrooms, but I thought that one was pretty interesting. So, as you can imagine, the Japanese foods we see here in America aren't quite made the exact authentic way. So now we're going to move on to the authentic foods of Japan. First, we're going to start with sushi. The most popular kind of sushi is called maki sushi. Maki sushi is wrapped in seaweed, but may also be wrapped in a thin egg sheet, soy paper, cucumber, or shiso leaves. And then we have nigiri sushi lastly, and this is where a meat is placed on top of a chunk of rice. Common meats for this type of sushi include tuna, salmon, and shrimp. And then lastly, we have main dishes. I have a couple main dishes here that we also have in America, so I'm going to compare them for you guys. First off, we have what's called ramen noodles. Yes, I said ramen noodles is considered a main fancy dish in Japan. In Japan, ramen isn't just a cheap fix for a meal. It's very savory and it's made fresh. It usually includes pork, green onions, seaweed, and egg. Along with almost everything else you eat in Japan, you get chopsticks and a spoon for the broth, and you usually get a side of rice depending on where you get it from. Obviously, this sounds very different from the ramen that we have here. All you do is get a little package, put some water in it, throw it in the microwave for about 3 minutes, right? In Japan, it's a high class dish. And then lastly, we have what's called soba noodles. Those are eaten here some, but not as commonly as ramen. They are essentially what we do consider ramen here in America, though it's cheap and popular in Japan while also booming with flavor. They can be eaten hot or cold, and they taste great however you eat them. Some shops sell soba as a main dish with a couple of side options, and you can buy them at markets and cook them at home. The way America differs from Japan on food is extremely different, such as with the fast foods, the snack foods, and the authentic foods that we talked about today. In conclusion, if you ever go to Japan, just know that you're going to be in for quite a surprising treat in the realm of meals. So, stay open-minded. Thank you.